one hip-hop artist who has used his music and his personality to garner hundreds of thousands of followers. He's managed to gather Instagram fans as well as loyal listeners who support him and buy his tickets. The Memphis rapper snakes through airy beats with a venomous bite and slick melodies. Courtesy of his brother in the game, LilDurk, Pooh, Shiesty, and drill legend King Von became quite close. In this video, we'll be looking at how Pooh, Shiesty, and King Von became acquainted and the truth about King Von's passing. King Von. King Von was one of Chicago's most popular up-and-coming rappers before his unexpected passing. He was regarded as one of his city's most versatile rappers, captivating listeners with his vivid storytelling and amazing vocal range. His songs were centered on vicious street antics, inspired by his heavy involvement in the gang lifestyle. But before he became a rapper, Von had already made a solid name for himself on the streets of Chicago. Early life. King Von was born Davon Daquan Bennett in Southside Chicago, Illinois. His hood was the Parkway Gardens Homes, popularly known as O Block, one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in all of Chicago, and some might even say in the entire United States. It was in this community King Von attended high school with rapper G Herbo, who rose to stardom years before King Von even started rapping, and became friends with LilDurk right from childhood, a friendship that would become a crucial part of this video. In the summer of 2014, Von was arrested on 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder in connection to a shooting that happened months before in Inglewood, Chicago. The charges were eventually dropped. However, Von spent more than 3 years in prison waiting for the case to be resolved. It was in jail that Von wrote his first raps, The Come Up. Immediately after his release from prison, King Von recorded and released his first single. This landed Von a deal with Durk's OTF Entertainment, which stands for Only the Family, and dropped him squarely into an industry whose ears had finally been tuned to the frequencies of Chicago drill music. His unique sound separated him from many artists from his city, who mostly just tried to imitate Chief Keef and G Herbo's signature drill sounds. In a time when drill music was oversaturated and played out in Chicago, King Von shone with his unusual soulful sound. King Von spent a large part of his youth in and out of jail. After beating his murder case in December of 2017, he started rapping in 2018 and almost immediately began to buzz in his city. At the time, LilDurk was much more established as an artist, having rapped for several years already. He eventually signed King Von to his record label and pushed him to focus on his music career and leave the life of the streets behind. Under the label, King Von dropped his first breakout single, Problems. Then, in 2018, the label released King Von's even more successful single, Crazy Story. In late October of 2020, King Von released his debut studio album, Welcome to O Block, a project that gained the rapper a lot of traction. It peaked at the number 13 spot on the Billboard Hot 200 and had 16 tracks. It was a tribute to his hood, the 6400 block of South Martin Luther King Jr. Drive of Chicago's South Side. Compared to his earlier work, Welcome to O Block tells King Von's story in much more detail and depth. However, it also shows the irreversible consequences that come with the life King Von lived. He understood that despite the opportunities that have arisen for individuals like him in the Chicago drill scene, the city has also lost a lot of its beloved rappers from violence. Little did he know that he would be next, the death of Von. Just a week later, tragedy struck. King Von was shot and killed by an armed associate of Georgia rapper Quando Rondo. The incident happened outside of Monaco Hookah Lounge in downtown Atlanta during a brawl. It was around 3:20 a.m. when the first shot was let off. King Von had a listening party for his debut album scheduled for that night. According to security camera footage, a fight broke out between members of King Von's and Quando Rondo's gang before one member of Quando Rondo's squad took out a gun. A shootout ensued, resulting in King Von as well as 2 other members of his entourage and 3 members of Quando Rondo's being hit. 3 guys were shot at the scene and died as a result of their gunshot wounds at the hospital. Police were unable to locate King Von at the scene. He was discovered shortly after the incident at a local hospital where he died. 2 off-duty Atlanta police officers who were working security at the lounge, as well as 1 on-duty cop patrolling the area, arrived on the scene. When the police arrived and confronted the shooters, more shots were fired between them and the police. Although no officers were injured in the shooting, there were some initial reports that King Von was shot and killed by the police officers. It was later confirmed with security camera footage from the scene that someone in Quando Rondo's gang had pulled the trigger. Von's death was first reported as a rumor on Twitter shortly after it occurred. The rumors were quickly confirmed by insiders close to the artist. Empire's CEO and founder, Ghazi Shami, confirmed the news the next morning with an Instagram tribute. Not long after, several prominent figures both inside and outside of the hip-hop industry took to social media to offer their condolences. People like LilDurk, Pooh Shiesty, YG, Polo G, and Designer. His death even caught the attention of LeBron James, who tweeted, "Damn, rest easy, Von. Bronny, Bryce, and I rock with his music and storytelling. The kid had a damn good future ahead of him. My prayers and blessings to his family." King Von and Pooh Shiesty affiliation. The relationship between Pooh Shiesty and King Von was mostly a result of their relationships with LilDurk. LilDurk and King Von went way back, but not only were they childhood friends, sometimes they were partners in crime. Notably, in May of 2019, LilDurk and King Von were both arrested in connection to a shooting and robbery that occurred in Midtown Atlanta. They were slapped with 5 counts: criminal attempt to commit murder, aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Cash App's debit card is customizable, and there's a glow-in-the-dark version, so you can always find it. Just open the app.
The 2 rappers were accused of being involved in a failed heist outside an Atlanta eatery. A victim was shot but survived, according to reports, and $30,000 was stolen. The 2 rappers were eventually released after posting bond. The case is still yet to go to trial, and LilDurk is waiting to see what will happen. In an interview with No Jumper, King Von discusses the matter briefly, saying that he and LilDurk are no longer legally permitted to be around each other. He stated that the 2 were not even allowed to communicate with one another. But with the death of King Von, it's uncertain how exactly this case will be settled. As for Pooh Shiesty, since he was cool with LilDurk, he and Von were definitely cool. Pooh Shiesty even hinted on a possible collaboration. He tweeted, "Shiesty X Von, about that time." The tweet received mixed reactions from fans. Some fans were pumped for the tune, while others couldn't get their heads around Shiesty and Von teaming up. Many tried to make fun of Pooh Shiesty by claiming Von didn't even know him, but they must have forgot King Von appeared in the video for Pooh Shiesty, Back in Blood. Regardless of what others say, Shiesty believes the single would have been as successful as his previous collaboration with LilDurk. The revenge-inspired song Back in Blood has been doing damage as it cracked the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100 in February and also got certified gold by the RIAA that same month. The ripple effect. The death of King Von created some tension in the industry. Although there's been no event that supports this claim, internet chatter seems to point to the fact that the death of King Von might have sparked beef between artists. The unmentioned beef between NBA Youngboy and Pooh Shiesty is one example. NBA Youngboy is good friends with Quando Rondo, while Pooh Shiesty and LilDurk are like 5 and 6, and LilDurk and King Von were almost like brothers. So when Timothy Leaks, an associate of Quando Rondo, was picked up for the murder of King Von, the line was drawn, and both sides have been subtly showing their disdain for the other crew. While that of NBA Youngboy and Pooh Shiesty is on the low, LilDurk and Quando Rondo, on the other hand, have been open about their feelings. In one record, LilDurk rapped some menacing bars and seemingly took shots at Quando Rondo, Lil Tim, and the late FBG Duck. And we took L's for sure, but in Chicago, they know we winning for sure. You do it for what? Better not say that. You do it for gunshots. Tough. The moment he ran, and he knew he ain't duck, was out of luck. We do it for Von. We don't wait till it die down. We load, and we do it tomorrow. He also rapped, "That rose better be bulletproof, Lil. You know we gon' shoot at the stars." A line many people believe was aimed at Quando Rondo, who recently filmed a multi-part interview with Angela Yee from The Breakfast Club inside of his Rolls Royce. It might also just be intended for another wealthy op, but considering the events, many are interpreting this as a diss against Quando. LilDurk and Pooh Shiesty tribute. Even with all the tension and beef, LilDurk and Pooh Shiesty have not missed a chance to show their love to the late King Von. At the beginning of this year, Pooh Shiesty called on LilDurk to create a video for their November duet, Back in Blood. The rapping duo was seen partying with their crew, flaunting stacks of cash and iced-out watches and chains in the video. They also paid tribute to King Von with the photo of him posing for the camera. It's not the first time LilDurk paid tribute to his late friend and longtime collaborator. In his Backdoor video, Durk pays tribute to King Von by wearing the rapper's signature O-Block chain. Durk also raps, "You weren't on that block when it was going on. I wasn't worrying about the other side when that was going on. And we don't hang with them. Don't ask us what we on. The only time we'll beat the case, you pull out camera phones." A verse he uses to touch on the constant threat of operating in the streets, using the song mainly as a tribute to King Von. The death of Von was a heavy hit to the hip-hop industry, but people like Pooh Shiesty and LilDurk have managed to keep his memory alive. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment below. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new content.